For this week's warm-up, you're going to need a little bit of space around you. So if you're at a desk next to someone close by, you might need to stand up and move away. If you're at home, then you'll likely have plenty of space. So there's a couple of things you need to know for this one. It's an exercise for your forearms, for this part of your body. So you need to make sure that when you're doing the exercise, your elbows are staying really locked in and straight. Yeah, we're trying to build some strength through our wrists as well. So when I say to flick your fingers, I mean to really push your fingertips into your thumb so that you can almost hear a sound. Yeah. So that's what we're doing with our hands. Elbows are staying straight. Our shoulders are a little bit more relaxed though, so we don't need to be crunching in like this. Just keeping our shoulders moving wherever they feel like moving, not hunching them up to our ears. Alrighty. The other thing I want you to think about is bringing your spine up really tall, like someone's grabbed your hair and is pulling you up towards the ceiling. So sitting up nice and tall wherever you are. Reach your arms out, elbows nice and long, fingers out in front of you with a bit of a gap in between, not too wide. What's a good number today? I think that we might do just 5, but you could challenge someone at your house to maybe even do 10. So we're going to begin at 5. I'm going to flick my fingers out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'm going to bring my arms up so they're in line with my shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I take my arms up to my ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I bring them out to the sides. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then back down to where I began. Now we'll do 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. Give them a shake. You're ready to write. In this video, we are learning to efficiently write a lowercase k and s. You'll know you've been successful today if all of your writing is the same size, shape, slope, and space. By size, I mean that all of your letters are the same size. We don't have some that are unusually large or unusually small. They're all the same shape. Each of your letters looks the same. They all follow the same slope, leaning to the right. And they all use space well. They're all neatly spaced so that your letters aren't too far apart or too squashed together, and that you're using the lines properly. We're going to begin with the asterisk symbol today. This is a body-sized symbol, so we're just using the space between our dotted lines. I'm going to begin with the letter X, then do a plus sign to finish off. So watching again, letter X, a vertical line down and a horizontal line across. Letter X, vertical and horizontal. And of course it doesn't really matter in which direction. You could do your horizontal line first or your vertical line, as long as you're neatly making those asterisks across your page. And what a good time to think about the spacing between each of them. Try and keep it consistent, all the same size. Now this week we've got two oddball letters. They're not similar in any way, like lots of our other videos so far. Let's start by looking at the letter K. Like all of our letters, it starts at the top, up here, and goes down to the bottom line. So I start at the top and I head down. My pencil stays on the page. It traces back up the way it came, goes around and down. Now I've just popped some lines in there to show you. Now I've just added in some lines to show you that I'm going to start on the top solid line. I go down for my sloping down stroke. I come back up over that line to make my loop, and then I kick out to finish my letter K. Let's move on to practicing a row of our letter K. Beginning on the solid line, down stroke, pencil stays on the paper as I loop and kick. Down stroke, loop and kick. And you'll notice that I'm trying to finish my loop about halfway in between those dotted lines. So check in with yours, see how you're going. Loop halfway, kick halfway. Good opportunity to check in with those down strokes as well, making sure that they're sloping a little to the right. And keep going to the end of the line. Now let's have a think about the letter S. We're doing a lowercase s today, so it just is going to use the space between those dotted or middle lines. I'm going to begin a little bit underneath the dotted line, and then all I need to do is snake it around. I'm sure you're very familiar with that shape. I just want you to make sure that you're beginning towards the top and finishing at the bottom, not making any upside down S's. We definitely don't want to be beginning from the bottom. Curving from the top and around. And moving on to your next line for the letter S. A good tip for the letter S is to think about your pencil sliding over your page. You don't want to be pressing too hard or too soft. Just thinking about how much pressure you're putting onto that paper to help get a nice smooth line. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need to, but otherwise we're going to move on to a couple of practice words. We're going to write 6 koalas, 7 kangaroos. Let's begin with the word 6. So letter S to begin. I downstroke and dot
And the letter X. That's one of our letters we'll be doing in our next video. 6 koalas. Lowercase k, loop and kick. O, A, L, check in with that downstroke. A, and S. 6 koalas. 7 kangaroos. Loop and kick. A, check in with that A shape. Hopefully it's not too round and not too pointy. N, G, A, R, O, O, and finishing with an S. 6 koalas, 7 kangaroos. Now, before I do my next practice line, I'm just going to have a look, and I'm thinking about the size of my letters, the size of the gaps in between. Already, if I was thinking about self-correcting, I can see that in 6 I have a bit of a larger gap, but in koalas it's much smaller. So that might be something I work on in my next row. For any of our older viewers, so if you're in stage 2 or stage 3, I'm actually going to do my next row with some exit flicks just for you. So if you are in year 1 or year 2, you can copy 6 koalas, 7 kangaroos exactly like we just did. If you're in year 3, 4, 5 or 6, you can add some exit flicks if you like. Or if you're in year 5 and 6 and you know all about it, just join them up. Good, keep practicing yourself. If you've got lots of time, you might even do it another couple of times in a row, or you might think of some of your own words for the letters S and K to practice. Now I've just finished doing a couple of extra words for practice and I'm ready to do my self-correcting. So I'm thinking about the shape of my letters. I actually find it really difficult with a stylus on my screen to get a really consistent letter S, but I think there's a couple in there that I'm pretty happy with. I talked already about the size of the gap between my letters, but I do think I've used the lines very well. The shape of all of my letters I'm happy with. The slope, looking at those letter Ks, I'm very happy with the slope. So overall, I think I've done pretty well. Now, whether you're at home, at school, or somewhere else altogether, thanks for learning with me today. Remember to show your teacher either by handing them your book if you're in real life, or take a photo and share it with them online. Today's guided drawing to finish off is a star. So you've probably seen people do this, but perhaps you're not sure of how to do it yourself yet, or maybe you're already an expert. Let's see. So I'm going to do a quick one to make a star shape. Now I've used quite a thick pencil nib there, so you might decide to use a texture or something like that if you're working on loose leaf paper. But now I'm going to go a little bit smaller with the thickness of my pen so you can see a bit better. So I'm starting down at the bottom and I'm going up and down, a little bit like I'm going to do a capital A, not using the correct formation. Maybe a triangle is a better way to describe it. So I've begun at the bottom, I've gone up and back down. From there, I'm going to make another triangle shape, but I'm going to go on a diagonal and across. So you'll notice that this across line here is horizontal. It would be running along the lines of your page. Then all I need to do is join them up. So watch again. Triangle, sideways triangle, join them up. Have a couple of goes. Triangle, sideways triangle, join them up until you get the hang of it. And you could make them really big or really quite small. It's up to you. Another way that you might have seen people do stars, which might work for you if the triangle method or the method above wasn't working, is to use two triangles. So a triangle pointing up, and then about halfway along I'm going to do a triangle pointing downwards. So I've got a triangle this way and a triangle that way. I'm going to slide that triangle over the top of that one. Triangle, triangle, and I'm done. Now you don't need to be too tidy with these because you can always just come back later and colour them in. Try some yourself, and if you have time, start a whole new page, and this might inspire some starry artwork.